My beloved child, come close. Slow down the rush. Allow the cacophony to subside and listen with the part of you that has always been familiar with me. With purpose, tenderness, and a word that bears the weight of your years and the hope of your future, I am speaking to you directly. Listen, I have picked you. You are unique, not by chance, not by human vote, not by the changeable consent of people, but by my will and my design. Before you learned your name from time, I left my stamp on you. Your existence was purposefully designed by me, not because you would have a perfect life, but rather because I intended you to have a deeper desire than the surface. You have described yourself as normal. For you, I have never used that word. You are appointed, I say. You are set apart, I say. You are mine. I am aware of how the journey is felt. I understand how the passing of time seemed to mold you into unrecognizable forms. In the long nights and the lonely rooms, I am aware of the questions that arose in your heart as you pondered whether I was still close. I was and will continue to be. Your narrative has not had a single page orphaned. No egg has been wasted. You have been brought to this threshold, to this sacred revealing, by each season. You are not in the rear. You are on time. I answer with love when your heart cries out in faith, my child. I trust you, Father, you say, and see how mountains yield to my might. Blessings are already underway. For the sake of your bones, let me reiterate, I have picked you. The reason I didn't pick you is that you never fall. When you reach for me, you never stop, which is why I selected you. Because people would cheer your name, I didn't pick you. I choose you because your hands know how to open and your knees know the floor. You would have an easy road, which is why I did not choose you. I choose you because you would be obstinate in your love, unkillable in your hope, and stronger in your yes than in your fear. You are not selected in place of other people. What only you can carry is what makes you special. The part allotted to your life cannot be switched. I will send you places that need your voice, your eyes, your tale, and your love style. My unheard prayers have found their answer in you. The only thing standing between us is distance, and you are the bridge I'm constructing. You are the light I am shining where others can only see darkness. Check out how I shaped you. Your character, the gentle edges that sense suffering before it's labeled, the fire that rejects bondage as the norm, the smile that brightens a room, the quietness that endures. It was all formed by me. It is not a weakness to conceal your sensitivity. I use it to listen into the frequencies of wounded souls. You're not reckless, you're courageous. Does love refuse to allow boundaries to be created by fear? Your curiosity, compassion, and unwavering commitment to the truth, these qualities are not arbitrary. A father who is aware of the type of work he is performing through you has chosen these tools. And when you breathe too deeply, you still feel the pain in the scars and locations. I have been at work there, especially there. Although I did not create your suffering, I have woven salvation through it until what attempted to shatter you ends up serving as the portal that you will use to release others. Your scars don't indicate that you failed. Seals of passage are what they are. I've been through fire and have learned the language of survivors, they remark. I have shed tears and learned where solace might be found. You're not stubborn, you're resilient. Resurrection is practiced until it becomes ingrained in your muscles. It was not on a stage that your wisdom appeared. Following evenings when you feared the dawn would never come, you came in a whisper. When you wished that calm had never fallen, I was there to weave a holy mistake out of it. I was asked why it took so long by you. Why the silence? Why so difficult? Listen to me, beloved. Seasons that are hidden are not contented. There was no void in the silence. There was depth. It was not a punishment for the delay, and it was getting stronger. There was no verdict in the refusal. It was a diversion from spaces that were too small for you. It was not cruelty, it was misunderstanding. Until yours learned to breathe, you were welcome to rely on my comprehension. You are like a lamp in the gloomy world, my love. Many are touched by my love through your tender heart. Spread grace and truth. Get my blessings in abundance by pressing super thanks. Recall the doors that refuse to open despite your best efforts to knock, because what awaited them on the other side would have nourished your soul and exalted your gift. I barred them. Remember the friendships that ended abruptly. I refused to allow anyone to degrade your life, so I let them go. The prayers that seemed to vanish into thin air come to mind. They did not disappear. Now they are pushing up as a crop of courage, clarity, and calm that seeded the ground beneath your feet. To avoid making you dependent on applause, I train you in solitude. I purposefully kept you hidden so you would come to love me more than results. To make sure your fruit wouldn't crush you, I tested your roots, so that you wouldn't freak out when storms obscured the horizon. I taught you to recognize my footprints in the everyday. You are prepared in ways you are not yet aware of. Heaven is aware of the strength you possess. The tenderness you refuse to give up is something that hell fears. Listen now. You are the only one with it. The key in which I wrote the melody in your spirit is one that releases certain inmates. You speak truthfully, how you tell a narrative without hurrying, how you pray without doing anything. No one else noticed the way you view them. These are not little. Because you come with me, not with a spectacle, lives will be changed. Obedience will accomplish more than 1,000 tactics. You will act as a gateway. You're right, a map. Your perseverance is a miracle that many have been waiting to see. Your impact will frequently be subtle. Silent doesn't mean weak. Rivers patiently sculpt canyons. Light creates noiseless gardens. Seldom does the room start to tremor before the kingdoms I shake make their presence known. Frequently, your work will seem easy, staying when it would be easier to go, listening, blessing, lifting, and tenderly speaking the truth, when it would be easy to harden, forgiving, when others just criticize, building. However, be aware that heaven gauges influence based on compliance rather than loudness. When faithfully poured out, what you carry will reach far beyond your line of sight, because the road has weight and you are selected. Being unique does not come without a price. It's a cross that transforms into a crown. Resistance should not be confused with deception. The resistance you encounter when you take your initial steps is frequently the very indication that you have discovered your path. To be chosen is not to be simple. It has a major meaning. In order to fit in more cheaply, you will feel pressured to make concessions, to compress your heart to fit into smaller spaces, or to act as though you are unaware of what you see. For acceptance, don't sell your inheritance. To get my love, I won't expect you to be less. I will show you how to walk with grace in places that do not yet comprehend you, and I will ask you to be faithful. I am yoga to you. So keep that in mind when despair whispers that you are alone. My vow is my response to the question, what if I fail? Posed by dread, with my righteous hand, I will support you. When fatigue tells you this is too heavy, come to me and learn that when you quit carrying the weight by yourself, it becomes lighter. I don't respect how tired you are. I encourage your reliance. The fact that you can carry everything does not excite me. I'll carry you, I promise. Raise your eyes. Sense my proximity. I'm not observing from afar and applauding your endeavors. Inside of you, I am with you. Breathe clarity into your mind and confidence into your lungs. I'll open the doors when you enter the rooms. They won't outnumber you. You'll be emptied out. My soul will rest like serene authority on you. More people will hear what you have to say than what you say. Your tranquility will serve as a haven for people who are in a rush. Your prayers will reorganize what is known as permanent logic. I'll be on the road with you when you're exhausted, matching your stride and transforming your I can't into we can. Let your heart be receptive to my light, precious child. Allow it to permeate your love-filled being. We shall heal and mend all wounded souls. You can rely on the rhythm I teach you. Speak from listening, work from rest, and love from receiving love. Furthermore, it is not necessary to fabricate results. You get to create environments where I enjoy moving. There are going to be days of embers and days of flames. Don't hate the embers. The altar is always prepared for wind. There will be assignments that are hidden and opportunities that sparkle. The brilliant should not be valued more than the hidden. Both have me equally present. It will be tempting for you to prove yourself. Set that down. My presence serves as your proof. This is the moment. Not when you feel better about yourself next year. No, not when everyone knows. More than your popularity, the world now needs your obedience. Self-doubt will not stop me from opening the doors. I'm bringing you folks who can't afford your excuse for being here. If you have the courage to step forward today, the rest will be waiting for you on the other side. Avoid making a hasty decision. Take thoughtful action. Avoid becoming frightened. Woo diligently. Make sure to ask me specific questions. I will outline a series of steps for you. Await divine appointments, homie talks, interruptions bearing my fingerprints, and invites that will lift your soul. Since calm will weigh more than pressure, you will be able to identify them, and my voice will continue to reverberate long after the time has passed. I proclaim alignment over you. Even strangers will make place for you because they will smell the scent of my work in you. Old misconceptions will be cleared up without your effort. Because vision in my hands attracts what it needs, resources will come to you. I'll give you advice beyond your experience and a favor beyond your qualifications. I'll drill new wells on supposed barren ground and reopen wells you believed were sealed. Be prepared for heavenly confirmations, words of wisdom that come like a key, a counsel that rings like a bell. No fingerprints on the handle of doors that open. Anticipate interruptions from the holy, compassion-adapted plans. By compassion, schedules are rewritten, tech tours that save more lives than time could. Be prepared for holy fruit, softening of the heart, patterns that are being broken, families getting better. Cynicism used to sit like a king, but now the Pope is back. You will see me employ time that will not appease your impatience to transform the impossible into witness. Holy resistance, not the type that crushes, but the kind that clarifies, will also be known to you. When lower offers attempt to buy your yes, you will remember that you have already paid the price. Fake versions of your calling will try to entice you with instant praise, but you'll see their slickness and pick me instead. And when tomorrow arrives, fear will be like a locked gate that opens to the sound of obedience. Keep the altar warm. Keep your margins and your mornings safe. Make thankfulness your daily soil. I am grateful for the little victories, the silent discoveries, and the ways I continue to manifest myself in subtle ways. Maintain sacred boundaries. Keep your mind open to learning and love everyone. But let me decide who has your secrets. You will be more excited to learn the more knowledgeable you get. Seek advice from someone who values me more than they value your approval. Maintain brief accounts. Quickly confess your sins and give forgiveness without conditions. Be less kindly, and don't forget that being with me is your first task. It is the source of all other assignments. Instead of using your tiredness to fuel your compassion, use my presence. Before you are empty, take a nap. Take it easy. Honor others without making comparisons to yourself. Allow jealousy to serve as a reminder to return to your lane's fullness rather than to embarrass you. Send disappointment home with truth after hosting it for a short while. Keep in mind that call does not equate to crowd when loneliness is whispering. It usually signifies concentration. Rest in the arms of my unwavering love, precious soul. Life is in my word. Freedom is in my mercy. To go on a journey of unwavering faith, click join. Listen to my heart and come nearer. You have my admiration, not because you've accomplished anything that other people can quantify, but because you've grown to trust me in the light and love me in the dark. You are not graded by me, I cultivate you. Failures are not what I am. I am developing my faith. You wouldn't shudder at the thoughts of people who don't hear my music if you understood how I sang over you. You wouldn't lament the lack of applause if you understood how heaven rejoices over your unspoken yeses. My chosen one is you. You are not a substitute, a contingency plan, or the lucky one who is left in the dark. They want you. You have been appointed. I didn't try you on just to check if you fit. I made the road rise beneath your feet, and I'll accompany you on the walk, weeping when you weep, laughing when you laugh, strong when you are weak, and stable when you stumble. Feel the blessing that I bestow upon you, and don't be afraid of its weight. A blessing is more than just a crown. It carries responsibilities as well. They're not asking you to perform, though. You have been asked to become a partner. My name bears you, and you carry my name. Your sense of weight will turn into wings. You will gain power from the pressure you experience. Someone else's dessert will receive rain from your tears. Remember that mustard seeds may move mountains when they are planted, even if you feel insignificant. Remember that I see you, and that my sight is the safest place on earth when you feel invisible. Remember that eternity is your timetable when you feel behind. Your speed is obedience. Keep in mind that grace is not a band-aid solution when you feel unworthy. Your weakness is my strength made flawless. So open your hands once more and bring the love forward. Raise your head once more. Say the little prayer that causes my kingdom to erupt. I'm here, you have me. Then proceed to the next faithful action. Compose the message, give the call, be brave, and offer an apology. Bless the person who hurt you. Get to work. Complete the chapter. Sow the seed. Rest guilt-free. Eat without embarrassment. Worship without haste. Have faith in me without urging, and have faith in yourself to arrive. Mountains move in this manner, one step at a time, one yielded. Allow this to sink more deeply than fear can. The reasons for your selection will become clear as your life progresses. The pieces will complement the beauty that transcends your justifications. The whole will be seen by those who only knew bits and pieces. The locations that once turned you away will now serve as memories of liberation or altars of reconciliation. In either case, you will be accompanied by freedom. The important doors will open naturally. Even if it costs, the effort that matters will provide happiness. And you'll know deep down that everything, the silent years, the unanswered questions, the years of obedience, has contributed to this devoted, fertile present. You are my special pick because of what you are capable of carrying. In me, your identity is not brittle. It is sealed with my love, unbreakable and immortal. No charge can break it. Failure cannot erase it. Comparison cannot make it cheaper. I'm still here, so the seal is still there. Come on forward, my child. I'm going to tell the world why I called you in the story I'm writing through you. You will remember that we did it together, you with all your heart and me with all my might. You will grin when people wonder how you did it. You are the one I have selected. I'll hold on to you. I'll carry you. I'll finish what I started. I picked you for this reason. And because it's you, this is why it will work. You are my strength. Simply put your best foot forward and see what I do. I have called you to be mine forever, my chosen one. If you place your faith in me, I will give you strength, hope, and excitement. Come nearer, my love. I have been leaning into your morning's little movements since the first quiet of the day. The peaceful steadiness with which you composed yourself for the day, the way your hand lingered on the mug, the gradual blink as you gazed out the window. I was not noticed by you in the routine rhythms. You didn't have to, I took note. I noted the areas where you brace yourself, where you provide more than is requested, and where you carry yourself lightly. You passed through rooms today like a gentle shadow. Because you learned to be little so others may feel big, you became present, cautious, and competent. Not because you went undetected. You didn't ask for attention. You didn't say what you needed. You offered what you had: patience, service, time, and an open mind to the stories of others. Little remnants of you were left behind: a duty completed, a polite reprimand, an act of goodwill with no recipient in sight. At first glance, it appeared to be elegance, but there was a familiar ache inside. The question you've been holding for years: who sees me for my true self? Not the final draft you present to the world. Not the cheerful facade that covers torn edges and late nights. I'm not requesting that you perform for me. I'm being straightforward with you. I noticed you. I caught the moments when you felt invisible, and I treasured them. I saw the effort you put into tasks for which you received no gratitude. I overheard the quiet, private count of the times you needed to talk, but chose to keep quiet. I sensed the silent burden you carry, as though by becoming smaller, you were protecting everyone else. You've convinced yourself that it's admirable to blend in, that it's a sort of invisible virtue. However, vanishing to make others feel more at ease is not a sign of holiness. Being ignored has a serious price. The soul is bruised by it. That slight, ongoing pain beneath your ribcage is neither a sign of weakness nor an error. It is the language of the soul, begging for acceptance, friendship, and healing. It's your heart telling you that you were meant to be noticed, not ignored. I have given you my wholehearted love, my child. Pour it into 3 dark hearts, and my serenity will illuminate them. I saw you today as you reflected on how it used to rest on you while laughter surrounded someone else. The simplicity of selection, the sheer delight of being accepted as enough. Something grew softer behind your eyes. A sense of belonging emerged. No, you didn't say it out loud, but I could hear the murmur. It's not a flaw, that longing. It is proof that you were made to connect with people, that you are born with the ability to be seen. You may have learned to have lower expectations from the world. You pick up survival skills, to suppress, to ration hope, to tuck your desire away like a delicate object. Though such tactics temporarily kept you safe, they were never intended to be your permanent posture. Fanfare is not necessary for me to notice you. I'm not paying close attention to scarcity. My respect is independent of your output or level of happiness. During meetings, you folded yourself up. To avoid being a nuisance, you let your voice fade into the background. Still, I leaned in your direction. However, You hoped for reciprocity when you remained kind. I held on to all of those gentle, expensive offers, even when your efforts were met with silence. They are not squandered. They're not invisible. I have a soft spot for people who keep the center together while standing in the background. I sit with those who maintain order without a claim and who carry dignity in silence. I don't ignore those who keep the edges in good condition. I comfort the lowly. Beside the silence, I sit. I'm stationed in the spot where your shoulders eventually drop and your breath becomes easier, when the commotion stops and the home becomes silent. You wondered, would anyone notice if I stopped coming, maybe without wanting to? If I didn't arrive, would anything be different? Let me respond. The absence would be felt throughout the world, sometimes subtly but always persistently. And I don't forget about you, not for a moment. The hairs you were worried about, I counted. I kept track of the tears you refrained from crying because you didn't want to raise a spectacle. The hidden ledger of the acts of love you performed for which no one returned the favor is in my possession. Being noticed does not have to be earned. To be worthy, you don't have to minimize yourself. It's not what you give up that makes you belong, but who you are. I was already with you when the day ended and no one inquired about your heart's condition, when you padded into that peaceful room and slid against the door for a brief respite. I don't rely on other voices to carry on our conversation. The delicate aspects of your existence are registered by me, the ache in your knees after a long day, the taste of the half-eaten toast, the sentence you nearly spoke but swallowed. Everything is collected, preserved, and recalled. Loved one, bring that fatigue to me. Don't take it as evidence of your failure or as a grievance. Present it like you would a delicate sacrifice. Let me have it, hold it out. You don't need to defend your feelings. You don't have to show courage for me to come. Your wish to be noticed is not extravagant. Humans were made with that need. I gave you that ability, beloved, so you may meet people in their entirety and be met in kind. Put down the unseen performance tonight. Let go of the tendency to compare yourself to quiet. Take a few deep breaths and let your guards down. Don't rest in the performance that wins, but in the kindness that is noticed. Please sit with me honestly. You don't need to describe your injuries. Before delivering your story, you are not required to tie it up. Every aspect of you, bright, shattered, ashamed, brave, will be held in my arms and I won't turn away. You're not a specter. A small note in someone else's soul is not you. You are loved, seen, and given a name. There was no condition attached to your value. It is ingrained in you from the very beginning of your formation. When you feel inadequate, keep this in mind. I look steadily. I extend a warm greeting. My love is a river, not a trickle. It is plentiful, unwavering, and rejuvenating. Your flame has not extinguished, even during times when it seems like your light is dimming. All it is doing is silently waiting to be cared for and acknowledged. You've learned to keep your needs to yourself in order to protect yourself. That makes sense. I am aware of the jagged edges you have faced and the frequency with which your candor has been abused. You don't have to stay on guard forever because of history. It only indicates that we shall proceed cautiously. Let me provide a secure environment for you to practice requesting attention. Please bring your unfulfilled desires to me first. You will eventually learn to let people in, not because they have to be perfect, but because you've learned to expect more than scarcity. Tonight, rest in the knowledge that I am speaking to you. Your presence counts. Your little actions have a big impact. People see your quiet courage. In the hollow regions, you are not alone. I'll keep track of every act of kindness that goes unanswered and convert it into something that will benefit you. I'll pay tribute to the hours you devoted to making room for others. When no one else can, I will give back to you what you gave away. Breathe and unclench then. See the person who doesn't count love by applause. In the rawness of your need, you are sufficient. Your entire identity is kept within you. You are chosen unconditionally and loved unconditionally. Take solace in that and let your heart rediscover the security of being recognized. I recognize you, the parts you folded up to prevent getting bruised, not just the part that learned to smile on cue or to soften your words to make people breathe easier. Though I can see that too. I understand what it's like to be honest once and be met with contempt, silence, and a coldness that made you shrink. Therefore, you made decisions without even identifying them. You started to wane. You gradually ceased providing the things that seemed most genuine, those bold, dangerous thoughts, the desires that make your heart pound, your entire demeanor when you're not protected. You became more agreeable. Being little felt like the only option to avoid feeling the pain of disappointment once more. Not because you are inherently sensitive. You weren't attempting to lie. You were attempting to live in a world that occasionally lacks substance. You developed the practice of protecting yourself by dimming. Now, dear, listen to me. I won't allow you to be defined by that dimness. I want to give you space once more. Unexpected space. A room free of shame, visibility without exerting any pressure, safety that doesn't require quiet. You concealed gifts I intended to show off when you shrank yourself to preserve the brittle comfort of others. Too many individuals passed you by, so you stopped anticipating a chase. You persuaded yourself that your feelings were an inconvenience, that you were a last-minute addition, that you should save your voice for quiet times. They're human reactions to human pain, real and intelligible. They are not, however, my word to you. If this message sparked something within you, dear, keep it close. Press like to demonstrate your affection and let your faith shine. I never taught you to feel bad about needing food. I never gave you too many or too few labels. The opinions you hold were expressed by people who are blind to what I see. I call you precious. I call you intentionally carved. You are not something to be controlled. You are a unique individual, created in my likeness, and the God who sees you is me, every silent anguish, every restless nook. Recall the woman who ran away, Hagar, who felt ignored and invisible. She believed she was no longer there, but there, in that dry area, I found her. I said her name. I still go by the name she gave me, the God who sees. You are met by the same eye that met Hagar. You hide in the wilderness, those inner chambers where you withdraw into quiet when holding forth hope has become too expensive. I am well familiar with them. I am aware of the paths you travel when you conceal who you really are. I don't bring a ledger with me. I bring tenderness that won't shackle you to survival, hands that grasp, and a voice that offers repair. I see the armor of restraint you wear. I admire the silent courage of someone who gives and provides because asking is frequently too risky, not because they have to. I observe how often you put other people's needs ahead of your own out of fear of being rejected, abandoned, or upsetting anyone. Disappearing is a form of holiness, you were taught. That isn't fullness, though. That is starvation. You were intended for a sense of belonging, community, and acceptance in your complete self. Being noticeable was never a sign of weakness or failure. Your design always included that. Every kind deed you believed was overlooked has been tallied. None of the tears you swallowed to keep from making a scene or the prayers you uttered out of sheer tiredness are in vain. I've retained them. In my economy, quiet love is never disregarded. Even when no one else notices, those little sacrifices have a purpose. I want to move beyond platitudes and comfort. I don't want to bring you into disgrace. I want to release you. There is a version of you itching to come out from beneath the calm posture, the patient tone, and the practiced kindness, the person who aspires to be observed without justification, invited without performance, selected without proving their worth. The idea that love is only offered when you ask for nothing has been a deception you've lived under. That becoming invisible is the goal of the spiritual journey. That silent erasure is the most sacred position. However, I never advocated for martyrdom via quiet. I am not concealed, and I called you to mirror who I am. Your voice is welcome here. Your needs are dignified. Your gentle strength has power. I'm removing the hastily constructed and injured survival pacts you created. I am violating the contracts you signed out of fear. I'm expanding the area around you so your spirit can breathe as it was meant to. Breathe and unclench then. See the person who doesn't count love by applause. In the rawness of your need, you are sufficient. Your entire identity is kept within you. You are chosen unconditionally and loved unconditionally. Take solace in that, and let your heart rediscover the security of being recognized. I recognize you, the parts you folded up to prevent getting bruised, not just the part that learned to smile on cue or to soften your words to make people breathe easier, though I can see that too. I understand what it's like to be honest once and be met with contempt, silence, and a coldness that made you shrink. Therefore, you made decisions without even identifying them. You started to wane. You gradually ceased providing the things that seemed most genuine, those bold, dangerous thoughts, the desires that make your heart pound, your entire demeanor when you're not protected. You became more agreeable. Being little felt like the only option to avoid feeling the pain of disappointment once more. Not because you are inherently sensitive. You weren't attempting to lie. You were attempting to live in a world that occasionally lacks substance. You developed the practice of protecting yourself by dimming. Now, dear, listen to me. I won't allow you to be defined by that dimness. I want to give you space once more. Unexpected space. A room free of shame. Visibility without exerting any pressure, safety that doesn't require quiet. You concealed gifts I intended to show off when you shrank yourself to preserve the brittle comfort of others. Too many individuals passed you by, so you stopped anticipating a chase. You persuaded yourself that your feelings were an inconvenience, that you were a last-minute addition, that you should save your voice for quiet times. They're human reactions to human pain. Real and intelligible. They are not, however, my word to you. If this message sparked something within you, dear, keep it close. Press like to demonstrate your affection and let your faith shine. I never taught you to feel bad about needing food. I never gave you too many or too few labels. The opinions you hold were expressed by people who are blind to what I see. I call you precious. I call you intentionally carved. You are not something to be controlled. You are a unique individual created in my likeness, and the God who sees you is me, every silent anguish, every restless nook. Recall the woman who ran away, Hagar, who felt ignored and invisible. She believed she was no longer there, but there, in that dry area, I found her. I said her name. I still go by the name she gave me, the God who sees. You are met by the same eye that met Hagar. You hide in the wilderness, those inner chambers where you withdraw into quiet when holding forth hope has become too expensive. I am well familiar with them. I am aware of the paths you travel when you conceal who you really are. I don't bring a ledger with me. I bring tenderness that won't shackle you to survival, hands that grasp, and a voice that offers repair. I see the armor of restraint you wear. I admire the silent courage of someone who gives and provides because asking is frequently too risky, not because they have to. I observe how often you put other people's needs ahead of your own out of fear of being rejected, abandoned, or upsetting anyone. Disappearing is a form of holiness, you were taught. That isn't fullness, though, that is starvation. You were intended for a sense of belonging, community, and acceptance in your complete self. Being noticeable was never a sign of weakness or failure. Your design always included that. Every kind deed you believed was overlooked has been tallied. None of the tears you swallowed to keep from making a scene or the prayers you uttered out of sheer tiredness are in vain. I've retained them. In my economy, quiet love is never disregarded. Even when no one else notices, those little sacrifices have a purpose. I want to move beyond platitudes and comfort. I don't want to bring you into disgrace. I want to release you. There is a version of you itching to come out from beneath the calm posture, the patient tone, and the practiced kindness, the person who aspires to be observed without justification, invited without performance, selected without proving their worth. The idea that love is only offered when you ask for nothing has been a deception you've lived under. That becoming invisible is the goal of the spiritual journey. That silent erasure is the most sacred position. However, I never advocated for martyrdom via quiet. I am not concealed, and I called you to mirror who I am. Your voice is welcome here. Your needs are dignified. Your gentle strength has power. I'm removing the hastily constructed and injured survival pacts you created. I am violating the contracts you signed out of fear. I'm expanding the area around you so your spirit can breathe as it was meant to. You don't need to pretend you're farther along. Notice small shifts, a laugh, curiosity returning, a true sentence spoken. Each visible thread is sacred growth. Detach your worth from praise. Begin with small permissions. Take an extra hour of rest. Speak a hard truth to someone safe. Tell your mirror a kinder story. Name one need aloud. These gestures aren't dramatic. They are reclamation actions. You are drawn back into your own orbit by them. I have observed you. I have witnessed the unseen toil, the personal sorrow, and the everyday braveries that hardly ever receive recognition. I'll keep watching, holding, and reminding you. You are not a work in progress that needs to be polished by outsiders. You are a completed, purposefully crafted poem that is deserving of celebration and unconditional love. People know you. You are adored. You're coming back. Take a breath. Don't forget to allow the light beneath the sediment to breathe. Secondly, visibility is not a commodity. It's the birth rate. It's time to return to that radiance in a holy, steady, and silent manner. With the same gentle, healing tone, I will completely rework and enlarge this for you in a deeper, more thorough manner. This is the most recent original version. You were not created to live for other people's approval. I am pointing you in the direction of something more stable than attention, completeness, an integrated inner existence, not the fragile variety that appears entire only when praised. Integrity of heart, a state of being that can stand strong without praise. I saw you today. It's the little quiet things, not the exterior you present to the world. The little pause that preceded your smile, the way your shoulders tensed before you responded. The instant your gaze strayed upward as though you were silently praying. You didn't ask me to mend anything or save you. All you needed was someone to be present. I can now hear myself calmly and clearly. Even in the places you seem to be hidden, you are being recreated. The ties you've carried are being untied by me. Those silent agreements that said, be tiny, keep quiet, Keep yourself safe. Those vows were never signed for you by me. I never intended for you to eliminate yourself for the comfort of others. Every time I sent out an invitation, it was unique. Don't blend in with my affection. Instead, reflect it. Your presence will grow as I fill the gaps you've been taught to conceal. Loudness and supremacy are not the goal of this growth. It is a peaceful, silent authority. Someone who is aware that heaven is watching them has a certain inherent gravity. A welcome will start to reside within you. I made room for you long before anyone else did, so you will enter rooms that are already yours. You will no longer gauge your value based on whether others find you attractive. You will no longer allow that silence to be a judgment on your worth, even if you are ignored. You'll navigate life more steadily and effortlessly. It won't be necessary to look at faces to get permission to breathe. Instead of questioning whether you belong, you will firmly believe that you do. Your voice is evolving. You'll talk more freely, not to dominate or draw attention, but to liberate. Words will no longer be used for self-defense, but rather as healing tools. Knowing that what you write has weight and significance will make you write with greater confidence and less doubt. Laughter will return when it is ready. Without observing yourself from the outside, you will chuckle. You will weep without regret. You will get a leg reward of relaxation without having to bargain for it. Once more, rest will be a legitimate break rather than a reward you have to earn. I'm bringing your original design back to life. The favor that permeates your life is not dependent on how well you do. It comes from the core of who you are. Before the world taught you to perform, you were created, known, and loved. The layers of fear will peel off like fragile armor in my presence. The survival masks are going to come loose and drop. The light I bring is dispelling old notions that said you had to shrink to be holy. The need that other people have for you does not define you. The fact that you both desire and provide care does not make you less important. Being sensitive does not make you unfit to be a leader. Being sensitive is not a sign of weakness. To take charge, fit in, and be selected. Hardening does not earn these things. They are bestowed to the brave and tender heart. I can perceive the constant rhythm of your growing even when your days seem intangible. I'll continue talking to that silent part of you. I will always find you when you stop listening or withdraw into yourself. Your periods of forgetfulness are tolerated by me. I'm adamant about my invitation. Take note of your breath. It doesn't show that you're still here in a dramatic way. Just that fact is sacred. You are still breathing heavily after all of the unsaid sorrow, worn-out smiles, and small compromises you made to make others feel better. It's no small feat to survive days when your presence felt optional. That survival is significant. It matters. Your feelings of heaviness tonight are not an indication of weakness. It is proof of the price you have paid for staying hidden. You didn't fail to reach this point of weariness. You got here because you continued to make room for other people without showing yourself the same respect. By taking on loads, avoiding inquiries, and providing solace without getting the same attention, you turned into everyone else's safe haven. Your urge to hush rather than talk was taught by that pattern. That didn't imply they weren't significant. It means you were indoctrinated to think they weren't as important. However, urgent requirements with uncertain worth are still considered holy necessities. Even a gentle pain might be considered sacred. The aspects of you that are exhausted are important to me. I'm sick of seeming tough. I'm sick of making things easier for other people. Weary of minimizing yourself? Sometimes you don't have to be the strong one. You can rest without the approval of the world. To be holy, you don't have to dim continuously. Perpetual self-erasure is not what holiness is. A life filled with integrity, relaxation, tenderness, and bravery is a life of holiness. I'm gently inviting you back into a life where your spirit can once again grow, not harshly. I want you to listen to these useful tips and start putting them into practice. Let one boundary now be a simple, unambiguous yes or no. You don't have to give an explanation for saving your life this week. Let someone carry one of your loads and experience what it's like to be present rather than to fix you. Tonight, write a brief, truthful journal entry. 3 statements expressing your feelings without using words. The words should not be judged, they were echoed. Breathe. Hold the verdict. Perform it 5 times. Observe how the body relaxes. I'm breaking the old agreement that you had to do something to earn someone's love. I'm taking away the requirement that you conceal your demands in order to be regarded as modest. I'm replacing you with new, more accurate words. They see you. You are adored. You are sufficient. Rest in that truth tonight. Allow it to soften the hardened areas. Rearrange your priorities as a result. It's because I formed you to live this way, not because the world rewards it. Being unseen was never your intention. You were always intended to be a beacon of light that draws people closer while remaining steady and warm. In the little things, like the pauses between phrases, the raise of your hand, and the tear that hides behind a grin, I am with you. If you believe in me as your Heavenly Father, please like this video and leave a sincere Amen in the comments. If you want to stay in touch with me, subscribe to this channel.